Hey, ¿qué tal amigos? Les habla Bandido y no olviden escuchar este podcast por Tiger Driver Radio.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Tiger Driver Radio for all things New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is your main man, JP, alongside
Juicy J. What up, JP?
What up, man? Dude, let me just say this right now. Like I said, I know we are a podcast and we focus on New Japan Pro Wrestling, but the fact of the matter is that you cannot deny that history is being made today. History is being made today. I feel like I'm 16 years old again.
I know. I have goosebumps all day. Just think about it.
Exactly. AEW is on TNT debuting tonight.
Yeah.
Wednesday Night Dynamite, tonight. Now, granted, we all know that we all love our New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And that is the primary focus of this podcast. But it should not be denied how significant today's debut is for AEW on TNT. Because the fact of the matter is, this is the first time in 18 years that pro wrestling has been on not only TNT, but a nationally syndicated company with this amount of money and financial backing has given any, I guess, if you want to call it direct competition, or has given an alternative to the WWE. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to say, oh, well, there's always other wrestling besides WWE. There's Ring of Honor and there's New Japan and all kinds of stuff. And I completely agree. There's always been other types of wrestling. Absolutely. But I don't think you can say that there's been a strong alternative that has the same production value and money put behind a company.
In the States as well?
In the States.
Yeah.
At the same, like I said, at the end of the day, New Japan Pro Wrestling, as of right now, is still the number 2 biggest wrestling company in the world but it's still by a big margin compared to like the WWE. But it is super significant. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later, about the significance of that. Because not only is AEW debuting, but of course the NWA has decided to air a weekly internet show, kind of giving a throwback to the studio feel that old NWA wrestling used to be back in the day, where they would do their weekly shows in a studio and then they would do arena shows for big events. So NWA is putting their hat in the, their name in the bucket as far as providing an alternative out there. And of course, with Impact moving over to Access TV and sharing, a channel with New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's astounding. It's amazing.
Yeah, especially everything on Fight as well.
Exactly.
All the promotions on there.
Exactly.
GCW.
Exactly. GCW is making a lot of waves. MLW is finally having their first pay-per-view in November. The wrestling landscape is healthy. It's super healthy. There are so many alternatives. Dare I say, compared to back then, because back then we were growing up, what was a way to watch wrestling outside of the big 3 back then? Because back then the big 3 was what? WWE, WCW,
ECW,
and ECW. If you wanted to watch anything else, what did you have to do?
Just tape trading.
Exactly. It was a lot of people that may or may not, that are listening. You may or may not be young to where you don't you might not be old enough to remember the days of tape trading where you had to go in the back of a magazine just to get like a mini catalog of like, this is the kind of tapes that we have available, and you got to send a money order or a check through the mail, and then wait a couple weeks for your like dubbed VHS tape, which sometimes the quality wasn't that great, and other times it was, but no less, it was awesome.
Unless you stole cable TV.
Yeah, exactly. And if you stole cable TV and then you stole like satellite TV, you might be able to get something interesting.
I remember those times.
Oh yeah, those are like I said, we're dating ourselves, man. This is how you know we're getting old. But like I said, I feel like I'm 16 again. Yeah. I feel like I'm 16 again.
We should go backyard wrestle after this.
Oh, dude, and break my knee, break my neck. Just that will not end good for anybody. And shout out to everybody who's listening out there. If in fact you are listening, tell me, what is the worst injury you have ever, before we end this podcast, we're going to find out what is the worst injury you have ever experienced backyard wrestling. Because if you're a wrestling fan, you probably backyard wrestled. You probably wrestled in your living room. You probably had mattresses. You probably put your brother or sister in a headlock. You know, so the point is that, like, you know, everybody's been hurt doing wrestling. I know I have, but I'm not going to tell you until the end. But anyway, man, this weekend was an awesome weekend for New Japan Pro Wrestling. A sold out show at Hammerstein Ballroom for Fighting Spirit Unleashed. I got a lot of comments about this one. I got a lot of thoughts. Great wrestling, but a very strong opinion, maybe an unpopular opinion. So with that being said, man, you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
So, man, with New Japan Pro Wrestling this weekend, they had the Fighting Spirit Unleashed tour. And the thing is with this tour is that, like I said, even though, like I said, according to New Japan, recently New Japan had their had a big conference amongst, like, you know, investors and everything else, and they said that this past year has been New Japan Pro Wrestling's most successfully financial year, pretty much going up within the upper double millions of revenue, which is awesome for a company like that. However, they said that one of the downfalls is the fact that New Japan Pro Wrestling's popularity in America is waning. And I think that's a big part in AEW, within the launch of AEW. And New York, the thing about New York is that New York fans are also some of the most opinionated fans. They are some of the most opinionated fans. They will let you know if you suck. They will let you know if they don't have any interest in seeing you. But on the flip side, it is not completely hard to sell out a show in New York. It's not. If it's good wrestling, they will show up. They will show up. Even even though, like, there's a lot of great indies up there, like even the NYWC shows, and, you know, House of Glory, and you know, and Battle Club Pro all do amazing numbers.
Is it just because there's so many people there, or just because so many wrestling fans there? Both.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of both. But the thing is, on the flip side, they'll go, but the thing is, they'll also be the loudest people to be like, this sucks. This fucking sucks. I mean, and case in point, during the Hammerstein Ballroom show, the opening match, Ren Narita against TJP. TJP at this point is somewhat of a household name. The guy's been all over, you know, 205 Live, the WWE. He's been on Impact, and yet somehow that crowd had no interest in seeing TJP win against Ren Narita, who is a relatively internationally unknown young lion, but people wanted to see Ren Narita put up a fight.
Yeah, they were excited for Ren Narita.
Exactly.
TJP, that didn't nothing to do with this guy, just kept booing him.
They kept
I felt bad for him.
I kind of did too. In fact, TJP even knew that he was being hated on, so TJP was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be cocky and arrogant. And TJP is in my opinion one of the most tragically underrated workers in the world right now.
Our buddy TJP.
Our buddy, shout out to TJP. But I mean, tragically underrated, amazing. I want to see more of him. I know currently he's in Impact Wrestling as well, but the fact that he was able to kind of do a string of New Japan shows, that's awesome. He was also a participant in you know, in the IWGP junior heavyweight division many years ago. Back in the day, he did take part in Best of the Super Juniors back then. Yeah. But nonetheless, he was able to tap out Ren Narita, which I think this also begins Ren Narita's first day on excursion, because he said that he will be training out of the LA dojo with Katsuyori Shibata.
But before you continue, what I wanted to tell you though is all these matches, and we're going to go through each one of these, they were quick matches, and I don't know if you watched it live or anybody out there watched it live, but there was a lot of technical issues.
Absolutely.
The show started like an hour and a half late. So everybody in the arena was already irate. They were mad. They wanted something to get started. Rocky even came out to give people shirts because they were upset. Like, what's going on? Nothing's starting. Yeah. Even the Japanese rep came out there and apologized. And man, he looked really, really sad.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of embarrassing, you know. And they started an hour and a half late. And in fact, he came out there and apologized in his best English. And then, of course, the crowd was just saying, like, it's okay, it's okay. But, you know, the fact is that the New York crowd is savage. Yeah. They'll start booing the fuck out of everything. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I'm glad that you mentioned that they had production issues, because the fact of the matter is that currently on New Japan World, the Japanese commentary version of the show is up, but not the English one.
Yeah.
which is bizarre to me. And then when that show was happening, while there were lights in the, like I said, the way the production was set up, the arena was darkened out and blackened out a little bit. It was a sellout crowd, so it wasn't as if they were trying to hide a lack of numbers. No, because the whole show was sold out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I noticed that there was a lack of lighting and I guess kind of theatrics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like less laser lighting, and it kind of took away from it a little bit, I felt.
Yeah,
you know,
it felt like just a local indie show maybe.
Yeah, local indie show that didn't have proper lights. The only lights that were there were, of course, you know, in the center of the ring to illuminate the ring for the audience.
Yeah.
But there was a lack of lights, and I don't understand what was going on there.
To me, it was the same feeling like when we went to Dallas. Since they know people, maybe they don't get a lot of fans in the States that much. They just don't really put too much effort on their production value when they're in the States for some weird reason.
I'm kind of thinking that too, because I know when New Japan did a lot of their when they did their co-shows with Ring of Honor, there was a lot more of an effort for the production value.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if you go back to the MSG show, there was production value. There was lights, there was lasers, you know, you had the cool PCO entrance and everything else like that.
Yeah.
But it just seems when New Japan does it on its own, they just kind of say, fuck the production value. But yet when they're back in Japan, you get the lights, you get the atmosphere. And I just think that's kind of a disservice to foreign New Japan fans, in my opinion.
Yeah, why do that? You're supposed to elevate your program and not just not care. It's a little weird.
Exactly. And the thing that I have a gripe about New Japan right now is that there is inconsistency. It's like, okay, you do a foreign show, whether it's Australia or England or America, and then you have these issues to where you don't give, it's not immediately available on New Japan World, or sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. That, I think that's really disconcerting for fans who, if they pay, you know, a monthly subscription to something, they want it to work. Yeah. They want their content available immediately. And the fact of the matter is, if you have a streaming service, they expect, you know, top-notch service. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you are competing against the godfathers of not only professional wrestling, but also of creating the model that everyone else follows. And that's, of course, the WWE Network. They were the first ones to do a wrestling network. Everyone else followed their suit after they pulled it off. Yeah. And you're going against a company that, you know, for the most part is excellent at their troubleshooting issues for their network. The fact that New Japan is sometimes inconsistent with their content, you know, and I understand you have a lot of translating to do, but the way that I see it, you have to work harder. If you're going to want to keep up, or if you're going to want to expand into foreign markets, you have to keep up. You have no choice but to keep up.
Yeah. Oh, everything's coming up 30 days later. Last night, I think they put up the CMLL Grand Prix show they had in August.
Yeah, which was
what was that?
Which is that's done. We're moving on here, people. And then that was the thing. Like when watching this show, you know, with New Japan Pro Wrestling, the production really killed it for me. Yeah. I can't deny that the wrestling was awesome. Like I said, I mean, to see Carl Fredericks kind of go toe-to-toe against Lance Archer, of course, he lost. You cannot deny that from bell to bell, the best, most consistent and best wrestling you will see in the world does come from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm just a little annoyed at their inability to be consistent with their production values. Yeah. And to also deliver a product to their foreign audience on time. I don't understand what the problem is.
It's weird. I don't know what's going on. Their wrestling is awesome, but I don't know, man.
I don't know. I feel like when they do tours in America, they phone it in. Yeah. You know, they absolutely phone it in, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I'm still going to keep watching it because I love their wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, there's no denying that, you know, I'm excited for King of Pro Wrestling that's coming up. Absolutely. It's going to be an amazing thing.
Yeah. And this next match we had in the show, we had Mikey Nichols is back.
Yeah, Mikey Nichols.
It's like he disappeared for a long time.
Exactly. And of course, he teams up with Juice Robinson against Alex Coughlin and Clark Connors, getting the pinfall over Alex Coughlin with the Mikey bomb. The thing that kind of annoys me is that, like, even though New Japan announces all their young lions the same, they don't get any special treatment. They should have announced, or let commentary even failed on this. They should have let everybody in the audience know that Alex Coughlin is a hometown hero. He's a hometown boy. He's from Long Island. Yeah. He is a student of NYWC, the Mikey Whipwreck School. A friend of mine, Kid Vega, formerly known as Kid Vega, my best friend Alan, trained out of he trained out of NYWC.
Yeah.
And he trained alongside Alex Coughlin and said that nice. Alex Coughlin was one of the most standout talents in that wrestling school. Yeah. And you could tell that Alex was going to go places because he was very much a student of the game, very respectful, very athletic, had a look, and he absolutely does. I mean, and it comes to show you that because he got signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Good heel, I think.
I have a feeling that Alex Coughlin, much like Carl Fredericks, is going to go places.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk so much about how Carl Fredericks is probably the next big thing coming out of the LA dojo, and probably the next big foreign talent to be developed throughout the next couple of years. But you cannot deny that Alex Coughlin has a bit of an edge to him.
Yeah. I think I like him better than Clark Connors, and New Japan's putting Clark Connors over more than Coughlin, which I disagree with.
I completely disagree with. I feel like Alex Coughlin would be a great. I don't know. I see that in him. I see that Alex Coughlin has this heel like aura to him. Like he'd be a great heel wrestler.
Mm-hmm. His face too.
Yeah, he
looks like he could be mean.
Absolutely. And there's nothing against Clark Connors. Clark Connors is also awesome as well.
Yeah.
I mean, all three. The fact is, the LA Dojo has produced 3 very awesome young lions.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is, there is something special about Alex Coughlin as well. And I hope that they don't misuse him and oversee that, because I think much like Carl Fredericks, you develop Alex Coughlin, you have a star in the making.
Yeah. What do you think about Juice Robinson and Mikey Nichols? It seems like they're trying to form some type of tag team with them.
They had some chemistry.
Partner up here and there.
Yeah, they had some chemistry. And like I said, after a couple of times of tag teaming during before the G1, and even most recently, with this show, I can definitely tell that Mikey Nichols and Juice Robinson kind of have a little bit of chemistry. I mean, Mikey Nichols at the end of the day was, a decorated tag team champion out of Pro Wrestling Noah for TM61, and then eventually became, went to NXT and came out with, he was TM, I'm losing my breath here. In Pro Wrestling Noah, he was part of TMDK.
Yeah.
The Mighty Don't Kneel. And then went over to NXT, had some awesome matches against the Authors of Pain under the team of TM61. So he is very much a decorated tag team wrestler.
Yeah.
I just think as of right now, he hasn't quite found his footing in New Japan, although he is kind of like a member of Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to see if Mikey Nichols and Juice Robinson maybe form a tag team. If Mikey Nichols was able to find his footing, because I feel like at this point, Mikey Nichols is just a body.
Yeah.
It's not that he isn't good. I mean, he was a fantastic tag team wrestler, but
because it seems Finley's never going to come back.
I don't know. They might be even holding him out until the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, until Wrestle Kingdom.
You might, who knows?
Yeah.
Because like I said, he just got hurt earlier this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm not sure how long more time he has in his recovery.
Exactly.
We're gonna have to research that, but in the meantime, these two people will work. Nichols and Robinson.
Because I know Juice Robinson and Finley were a tag team for a long time, and with the injury that things kind of happened. And then of course we had Show and Yo and Rocky Romero against God and Jado. My personal opinion, Jado has no business being in the ring. He's too goddamn old, too goddamn beat up, and I understand that he needs to stick to his role as a heel manager.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The guy can barely move.
Yeah. Yeah, he should. But he has his kendo stick.
He has his kendo stick. That's the only thing he has. Like I said, Jado is a long ways away from when he was part of Team No Respect and FMW in the 90s, which I was a fan of his tag team with Jado and Gato back in those days. They used to wear these baggy shorts and these baggy pants. These baggy shorts and these baggy ring attire, and they were like heels back then in FMW. But Jado and Gato are no longer those guys. Mm-hmm. So I think they need to stop wrestling.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I remember back in 2013, 2014, Ring of Honor did a War of the Worlds show at Hammerstein Ballroom, and Jado and Gato at the time were still tag teaming. And they did a tag team match against against the Kingdom, and they were very unimpressive at the time. Very, very unimpressive, at the time and stuff like that. I mean, awesome killer show. This is a show where I saw Shinsuke Nakamura against Kevin Steen, and I saw AJ Styles, Okada and Michael Elgin in a triple threat for the IWGP Heavyweight title. And I saw, Adam Cole against Jushin Liger.
Yeah.
Made him tap with a figure 4 too on top of that. And then of course seeing Gallows and Anderson against the Briscoes against the Young Bucks.
Wow.
Which was insane.
Were you marking out? That's
absolutely. It was a fucking amazing show. But I'm saying Jado and Gatto, what I'm basically trying to get at is my long ways away of saying that Jado and Gatto both respectively don't need to be in the ring. Stop it. However, GOD, amazing as always, got the victory over Rocky Romero.
Yeah.
I think Sho and Yo, both are respectively, will eventually stop being junior heavyweights. I know Yo especially. Like I said, Yo did extremely well, earlier this year in the Best of the Super Juniors, and just him wrestling solo. I think he is the standout between Sho and Yo, and I've said that all year. It's just a matter of time. And I'm basically waiting for GOD to have some legitimate competition because they've dominated the IWGP, heavyweight tag team scene for the better part of the year.
Yeah, everywhere. Even in Ring of Honor.
Even with the rivalry against the Briscoes.
Yeah.
But speaking of, other tag team legends and tag team technicians, you had the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton with Hiroshi Tanahashi against LIJ's Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito. Now, this is a very quick match, and in fact, this was kind of more so a novelty, if you will, where it was just pretty much seeing... like at the end of the day, Robert
guitars. You were right about that.
Yeah, tons. What did I say? Tons of air guitars. Tons of air guitars. Ricky and Robert were definitely, pandering to the crowd to try to get Tanahashi to do the air guitar thing.
Yeah.
A lot of heel tactics from Tetsuya Naito against Tanahashi. And, like I said, Robert and Ricky are obviously no spring chickens. They're old. But considering how old they are, I think that they're completely aware that they're a novelty act. They're a novelty that you got these guys who are this old that can still move.
Yeah.
And like I said, in my opinion, I think they definitely need to retire. That's just my opinion. But I'm not going to deny that. Can they still move? Yeah.
But they keep coming up on indie shows.
Yeah. And the thing is, they keep having pretty good tag team matches.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's more so, in my opinion, I think that's definitely to the credit of whoever they're working with.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the Rock and Roll Express at this point, they're in their 60s, maybe early 70s, maybe, if correct me if I'm wrong out there, audience. But I've seen them have amazing tag matches with LAX, with the Lucha Brothers, with guys that are like, hard and heavy, fast-paced tag teams, and these guys obviously aren't in their 20s anymore. This isn't, the early 80s, but the fact is, like, good on them for being able to entertain a crowd. They know they are not. They don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
They know that they are a novelty act, and having them team up with Hiroshi Tanahashi. Did you notice that Tanahashi also had a bandana hanging off of his boot too, just like Rock?
Yeah, they didn't notice.
Yeah, if you notice, he had the bandana hanging off. And of course, he was doing the air guitar, but of course he hit the high fly flow against Bushi at 10 minutes 19 seconds. A quick 10-minute, but a fun match, no less.
I think they wanted it quick also because not only because they're trying to catch up because of how late they were, but also because they wanted to give that Tiger Hattori that celebration they had after the match.
Yeah, absolutely.
With him, I think retiring, right?
Yes, he's retiring. This is pretty much it for him. Like, a legend when it comes to refereeing, and the guy has refereed so many amazing matches. Including Tatsumi Fujinami against Ric Flair in the Tokyo Dome, where Fujinami beat Ric Flair for the NWA World Title.
Well,
He refereed.
I haven't watched that. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, classic match. Refereed that.
Yeah.
I mean, what hasn't he refereed at this point? So, you got to give props to, Tiger Hattori, which, by the way, I didn't know this. He doesn't live in Japan. He lives in New York City.
His English is good.
His English is great. Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah. He lives in New York. So when he's not on tours for New Japan, he was living in New York. I had no idea.
You're going to have to go visit him when you go back to New York.
Yeah, I'll have to go visit when I go back home. And then up next, you had Amazing Red, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroki Goto against Gato, Chase Owens, and Jay White. How awesome is it to see Amazing Red in a New Japan ring?
totally awesome. I hate Chase Owens though.
Oh, I hate Chase Owens too. You know, the fact of the matter is that like Chase Owens is a perfect heel, and people love to hate him, much like they love to hate on Jay White. The only difference is that Jay White is as good as he says he is, and backs it up, which is a pain in the ass. Because don't you hate a heel that can back up his shit? Don't you hate that? It's easy to hate a heel that ain't shit. It's like, you ain't shit. You're gonna get your ass beat, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that, like, you know, he is just one of those heels, man. That's just like, God damn, I hate you because you're that good. And much to his credit, you know, Jay White, you know, is exciting to watch. But, you know, in this match, Goto did, of course, hit Gato with the GTR. Love that move.
What I didn't like about this match is that most of it, I think maybe I could even say like 20 minutes of it, was just Ishii against Owens.
Yeah.
I don't know what Owens is thinking trying to challenge Ishii. That wasn't a good sight. He just kept getting pummeled.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, man. And then, you know, the thing, too, is just... I think they also wanted to give some time as well for this next match, which was Kenta defending, you know, his never openweight championship against Yoshihashi, which I was surprised they got 25 minutes out of Yoshihashi.
Yeah, that is too much time.
Too much time with Yoshihashi. The match wasn't boring, but Kenta led that match. Yeah. He carried it.
Yeah, it was just a 20 minutes or maybe even 15 minutes of just him destroying Yoshihashi.
Yeah, him pretty much just hitting him with stiff kicks, and the crowd just kind of just going, ooh, like it wasn't one of Kenta's best performances. It obviously wasn't Yoshihashi's, but I would have thought that Kenta would have defended against someone else.
Yeah. Maybe even Ishii.
Yeah, exactly. That would have torn the house down. Yeah. Or Goto, for that matter.
Yeah, when Yoshihashi came in the arena down the ramp, he looked a little nervous. Like, oh man, they put me in this match in New York. That's not going to be good.
I don't remember it. The crowd didn't really react well.
No, he got no reaction at all. Like no boos or anything. I mean, you could hear some boos when he was coming down the ramp. Even people were giving them the thumbs down, like you suck. But he didn't get any reactions.
No, because I remember Kenta got a loud reaction.
Yeah.
You know, but that's a smart mark crowd. Mm-hmm. You know, he got a smart mark crowd that are just, you know, wrestling, you know, encyclopedias.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, obviously Kenta hit the GTS to retain the never openweight championship. We'll see where his next challenger comes from.
Yeah.
I want to see him versus Taichi. I'll say that right now. Taichi against Kenta.
Yeah.
King of Pro Wrestling. Make it happen.
That would be awesome.
I think that would be amazing.
I love that.
Or I don't know, Kenta versus Minoru Suzuki sometime after King of Pro Wrestling. Seeing as how that Minoru Suzuki will not be wrestling Liger at the Tokyo Dome as of right now anyway.
Yeah.
You know. And then last but not least, Kota Ibushi and Kazuchika Okada against Evil and Sonata. Evil, of course, hit his Everything is Evil finisher on Kota Ibushi. I was shocked he got put over, but I think that's kind of to build some excitement over the fact that Evil is challenging Kota Ibushi at King of Pro Wrestling for his Tokyo Dome contract. And the fact that he got a pinfall in a tag match really makes things uneasy now.
On Ibushi.
It's like, it means Ibushi, he's, like I said, usually when it comes to matches, it always usually favors anybody who gets pinfalls leading up to the championship match.
Yeah.
But it always favors the winner, and Evil is already getting some momentum.
Evil.
Exactly, you know, and he's already getting some momentum when it comes to getting a pinfall over Ibushi. If you can keep that momentum, next year's Wrestle Kingdom is going to look a lot different.
Yeah. This match was a little standard, though.
It was a bit of a standard tag team match.
Yeah, nothing we've never seen before.
Exactly. A lot of it was build up to King of Pro Wrestling to have Ibushi kind of take the pinfall. And of course, a lot of the tension between Sonata and Okada for their rematch at King of Pro Wrestling, which I'm excited to see. Because like I said, and then, you know, another thing to kind of caveat off this, most recently, speaking of content they just recently uploaded a New Japan Pro Wrestling documentary on the YouTube channel and on the, you know, New Japan World, where they basically broke down the highlights of this year's G1 in English.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I saw that.
And
it's awesome for anybody who didn't see the G1. Like, it goes through the whole thing.
It goes through the whole thing, and it talks about like the most important matches of each date.
Yeah.
And broke down what happened, and also kind of did some behind the scenes interviews of their perspectives of what was going on during the G1. And with that being said, you know, it was really, really interesting that to get their perspective, because like I said, a lot of people in that G1 will unanimously agree that the G1 is one of the most difficult things anybody can go through. John Moxley even said, like, early on he was already hurt.
Yeah.
He was already hurt. Goto even said, like, Ibushi even thought, like, after the first day when he went up against Kenta, that was it, that he wasn't going to be able to make it through the rest of the tournament. And then he ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Goto even talked about how grueling this tournament is every year. But I mean, like I said, it's a really good watch. If you guys are out there, go ahead, go watch it. It's called Vanishing Point. Mm-hmm. Good thing to watch it. Even Evil even talked about how he felt he was unimpressed and annoyed at how lackluster he performed this year. Yeah, but like I said, this past year's G1 was awesome.
Yeah.
This tag team match was, of course, fallout from the G1, building up into what's going to go on to King of Pro Wrestling. Sonata against Okada. Even Sonata talked about how beating Okada meant so much to him because he finally was able to do it. And then, of course, with Evil pinning, Kota Ibushi, Evil said, like, okay, even if I didn't win the G1, the fact that I was able to beat Ibushi shows that I belong here. Mm-hmm. Because he is a top talent, and he's absolutely right. Now the big question is, can he get the job done when it counts the most? And if he does, that definitely changes the whole landscape of Wrestle Kingdom. Not to mention, if Sonata is able to beat Okada and take that title, then at that point, Evil and Sonata will headline one night of the Tokyo Dome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens with the Intercontinental title, currently with Jay White holding on to it.
Man, interesting stuff. So much going on.
So much going on. And like I said, a lot of people are claiming how they're going to be the next guy to be double champions. There's a lot of talk about that. We'll have to wait and see. And it's last but not least, don't forget the fact that pretty much a blood feud, Kishin Liger will face off at Kingdom of Pro Wrestling against Minoru Suzuki. Finally, after many, many, many years of trash talking. Mm-hmm. It's finally going to come to a head. So I'm excited for Kingdom of Pro Wrestling. Fighting Spirit Unleashed overall I'll be honest, was an underwhelming card. Yeah. But it leaves me still excited to see what's going to happen at Kingdom of Pro Wrestling. My biggest gripe, though, however, is that you need New Japan Pro Wrestling. If anybody... I seriously doubt anybody from New Japan Pro Wrestling is listening to us right now. But the fact is, if you are, don't discredit your foreign fans that you have left still. Yeah. And don't phone it in. Don't be lazy. The same kind of courtesy that you give your Japanese fans, true American New Japan Pro Wrestling fans, and for that matter, British and Australian fans alike, want the same experience.
Yeah, the whole shebang. Everything you provide to the Japanese wrestlers, including the better entrances to the arena. Like, we want all that. Give it to us, people.
Exactly. But then, like I said, we have to close out the New Japan Pro Wrestling segment before we get on to talking about what else is going on in the wrestling world right now. King of Pro Wrestling, Monday, October 14th. You have, of course, El Desperado finally making his comeback, tag teaming with his tag team partner Yoshinobu Kanemaru Doki against Roppongi 3K and Ryusuke Taguchi. Then, of course, you have Tanahashi celebrating his 20th year as a professional wrestler. Started off in 1999 and then eventually became the ace of the universe, the once-in-a-lifetime talent. 20 years. Tanahashi and Tomoaki Hanma against Toru Yano and Togi Makabe. And then, of course, you had LIJ's Bushi, Takage, and Naito against Zack Sabre Jr., Lance Archer, and Taichi. Yoshihashi, and then, of course, another tag team extravaganza. Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, and Goto against Jay White, Kenta, and Yujiro Takahashi. And then, of course, you had a blood feud that's going to come to a head where Jushin Liger will face off against Minoru Suzuki, probably as Kishin Liger. Then, of course, you have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match, Will Ospreay in his second defense against the despicable El Phantasmo. And then, of course, you have Jon Moxley, the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match, in a no DQ match against Juice Robinson. Then, of course, you have the contract match for the main event, Ibushi against Evil. And then finally, for the biggest title in all of pro wrestling right now, Okada in his fourth defense against Sonata. Like I said, you're going to have to keep an eye out for these last two matches, man, because that if it goes one way or another, it's going to drastically change the landscape of what's going to happen in Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes, sir. So much going on.
It's going to
be a good October.
It's going to be a good October. And like I said, you have, of course, after King of Pro Wrestling, you, of course, have Road to Power Struggle, the Super Junior Tag League, pretty much from October 16th to November 1st, showcasing junior tag team wrestling. Should be interesting.
Yeah, that Power Struggle is going to be a lot of shows for us. That's going to be awesome.
Exactly. And don't forget that New Japan comes back Saturday, November 9th. In San Jose for the New Japan Showdown.
Yeah.
And then, of course, at the Globe Theater in California on November 11th. Should be exciting, man. Lots of good things as we're on the road to Wrestle Kingdom. But on that note, man, let's see what else we can talk. Let's see what else is going on in the wrestling world, man, because we got a lot to talk about.
Let's go.
Oh, man, like I said, as we prefaced this show earlier, man, tonight, AEW, Wednesday Night Dynamite. First time wrestling has been on TNT in 18 years. The first time there has been viable competition to WWE in nearly 2 decades. And, you know, I was over listening to some people saying, like, how WWE isn't afraid of AEW. I disagree. I'm not saying they're afraid, like, oh, my God, we're going to go out of business because of these guys. But the fact of the matter is...
It's taking people away from you.
Exactly. The fact of the matter is, if you truly were not worried about anything, even if you're not worried about your job security, you're not worried about, at the end of the day, now you're suddenly not the only person in the playground. You're not the only person in the yard, to use one of Undertaker's old puns. You're not the only guy in the yard now.
Yeah. And
the fact is that you decided to put your developmental league, NXT, to put it onto USA Network, shows that they want to do everything they can to make sure that there isn't any other viable competition out there. Because, WWE these past couple of years have taken a different approach to how they conduct themselves. Suddenly they're doing business with popular independents throughout the world for talent, for farm systems. A lot of people have even accused WWE of pretty much stripping the UK independent scene as of late. That some independents had to close because they have no talent, because a lot of the talent can't wrestle for certain promotions in the UK anymore. And then, of course, with them putting NXT on USA, there's a reactionary move to kind of take away fans from watching AEW, from growing their audience. I mean, at the end of the day, fans win. You got all this amazing wrestling out there.
And they're bringing all these nostalgia acts back. Just because AEW is starting today. Exactly. And then an hour and a half.
And then you have, SmackDown on Fox on Friday. And what are you doing? You're going to bring back The Rock. To that. And of course, everybody's going to tune in if The Rock's on TV. I mean, that's a given, but the fact is that, like, you can't tell me that WWE isn't annoyed or afraid, because at the end of the day, they always talk about, competition is good. If it was good, then you wouldn't do anything. You would just continue doing what you're doing. But the fact is that you have to up your game, shows that you are taking this very seriously, as you should. Which is why I go back to what I said earlier, that New Japan Pro Wrestling, for them to, at the end of the day, I don't think New Japan Pro Wrestling will ever become a gigantic promotion in America. They're always going to have a niche audience. But if for them to keep up in any way, shape, or form, they're going to have to take their production values to another level, and they have to treat their American fans just as well as they do their own Japanese fans.
Yeah. Any promotion needs to
up their game. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you see a promotion like Impact, who have got on a better channel, and they've got on Access, even though it kind of hurts them, because this is like the 3rd or 4th channel they've been on in the past couple of years, which hurts their reputation. But at least they're on a better channel. They're on a better platform. The product is much better. You have MLW that's been doing great numbers. And of course, now they're going to be doing a pay-per-view, their first live pay-per-view. It just shows you that there's a lot of wrestling promotions that are trying to put their best foot forward in this very healthy wrestling economy. Yeah. But it cannot be ignored how important tonight is. And I hope that AEW is able to kick off, a strong show.
Yeah, they are taking good talent from the indies, though.
Absolutely. There's a lot of amazing talent. And who's to say there's not going to be more? Yeah. There's not going to be more. Who's to say? And, dare I say, I think that New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW's working relationship is it's inevitable. I think it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think New Japan and Ring of Honor are going to continue working in the near future. I think eventually it's going to die out. And I think New Japan Pro Wrestling will, of course, partner with AEW. I don't know if that's going to happen, when. I just have a feeling it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, a lot of some recent news with Rush and Dragon Lee being kicked out of Ring of Honor. That's a strange move. Yeah, they just got kicked out from Ring of Honor.
Really?
I'm sorry, CMLL.
Yeah, okay. I was about
They
to say,
got
like,
kicked
Ring of
out.
Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I was like, that's news to me. That's
Yeah,
breaking.
they kicked out of CMLL. So
They were released, yeah.
yeah, they were released, and it's again going back to what you said of Ring of Honor and the New Japan Alliance kind of dying out. And
Who's to say
it's
that?
just people trying to make moves here and there.
Exactly. And who's to say that now CMML is no longer wanting to work with Ring of Honor anymore?
Yeah.
Because I know they just did recently a tour together, a War of the Worlds Espectacular.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like Ring of Honor's numbers are dwindling very dangerously, and it's unfortunate because they have such a talented roster.
Yeah.
You know, and on top of that, NWA is now doing a weekly internet show called Power,
Uh-huh.
and they're doing it online, and they're doing that whole old school 1970s, 1980s studio vibe where they have the old NWA setup from back in the day,
Yeah.
but with a modern twist, with modern wrestlers. I mean, you have James Storm, you have Nick Aldis, Thunder Rosa is even part of that now, you know. And then of course I've heard that Zeta Zhang from NXT is finally signed with MLW. MLW will now be promoting a women's promotion. So it just seems like right now everybody's making moves, signing talent, trying to get as much exposure as possible, because at the end of the day, you have a juggernaut like WWE who has monopolized wrestling for the past 70 years essentially.
Yeah.
And now something big is coming, and that's AEW.
Yeah. So like territories are coming back.
This almost feels kind of like a territory days to an extent, except now it's through promotion rather than regions, because we have the internet. You have, you know, the advent of the internet only made it easier for promotions to get exposure, because this is how I'm able to watch MLW. I watch it through YouTube. This is how I'm able to watch Pro Wrestling Noah. I watch it through YouTube. I have a streaming service through Fight TV where I watch all of Game Changer Wrestling's, you know, events when I'm able to. And like I said, the internet has only made it easier for wrestling to be available to the masses. My only question out there to the Tiger Driver Army is that, do you guys think there is an oversaturation of pro wrestling? What are your opinions? I want to hear. Hopefully somebody's able to give us a response. But the fact is that, do you think there is an oversaturation of pro wrestling right now?
Let us know on Podbean. Send us your questions. You can even call us. We'll put you live on the show. Give us a call, people.
Absolutely.
Want to hear your thoughts.
Don't be shy. Do not be shy at all. We want to hear your opinions. We want to hear everything, man. And, you know, and another thing too is that I'm just very excited about tonight, man. Like I said, after this, man, you and I are going to get some food, get some wings.
We're not going to backyard wrestle? We talked about that earlier.
You know what? Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
Speaking of backyard wrestling, who out there is listening and who can tell me right now, what is the worst injury you've ever suffered from backyard wrestling or living room wrestling or whatever the hell? I will tell you this right now. I was cut open once. I was busted open, like hard style.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine took a sign. We were wrestling in his trampoline in his yard, and he had his mom was a gardener, so they had like a beautiful garden and everything. And in every month, in the neighborhood they would do like a competition of who had the best like yard, and they had a yard of the month sign. Yeah. So they won that year's yard of the month. My friend took the sign out of the ground, his mom's yard of the month sign that was heavy, and hit me over the head with it, like just decked me. And kind of cut me open a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it was a tiny scratch, but, you know, tiny scratches, you know, bleed everywhere. That, and I almost broke my collarbone when a friend of mine was trying to do a full Nelson slam. In the middle of the full Nelson slam, this other kid that was wrestling there with us hit a sweep kick, sweeped his legs out from under him. So then when he threw me, I fell sideways on between my neck and my shoulder. So I thought I broke my collarbone. Yeah. Luckily, I think I just barely tore some cartilage or something because it was super sore. So those are the two worst injuries, that I almost separated my shoulder. And then, of course, I got busted open hard style.
Wow. Man, the only one I had that was pretty bad, and I really didn't break anything or cut anything. It was just set up some tables, just like 3 tables, like a level like one level, second level, third. Put up a ladder, went up to my friend's roof, and then jumped. We put fire on it, mind you.
Yeah.
Jumped it through the tables and just went through.
You said fire?
3 tables, yeah.
God damn.
And the only thing was that I kind of lost my breath hitting my back, and but that's it. It was just scary though. Going through all that.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then I put on a sweater because I thought I was, or I assumed that I was going to catch fire, which I did. And I just stood up like nothing happened, and like trying to catch my breath, and I stood up, and then my friend's like, "Oh, you're on fire! You're on fire!" And I just jumped and started rolling.
Jesus Christ! Did you get any burns or anything?
No, just the sweater. There was a hole in the sweater in my back.
Good God! Oh my God!
I need to find those tapes. They're out there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any recordings on mine. I remember my friend John when we used to backyard wrestle. This is the same guy that did the full Nelson Slam. And
John Moxley?
No, absolutely not. But one of the other things that I did to him that knocked him silly once was I put a bucket on his head. You know, like a bucket you use to wash your car. Like I put a bucket on his head and I did a spin kick and hit him real hard, and the bucket shattered on his head.
Yeah,
split his lip open. He was bleeding out of the mouth. It was bad. And the thing is, like I hit it spot on because at the time I was doing kickboxing and taekwondo.
Yeah.
So my kicks were awesome. So I hit the bucket right off of his head, like boom, whole bucket shattered off his head because I hit it that hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a big cut like on his lower lip, real bad. He came to school that weekend. Everyone was like, "What happened, you dude?" And he's like, "Oh, we were backyard wrestling." Because the entire time I'm at school, like I'm getting up out of the chair, and I'm like, like I'm just hurt. Everyone's like, "Dude, what's wrong? Why do you keep complaining that when you're walking?" I'm like, and I would just lift up my shirt, and you have all these like purple bruises all over my body from like getting punched and slammed, and yeah, like he even power bombed me off of a wall.
Ouch.
Yeah, like awesome bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it knocked the wind out of me too. Like I said, we were abusive to each other, dude.
And did you get hit by the light tubes?
Light tubes?
Those don't hurt that much. It's just
they
just
cut you.
Pop. Yeah, no, they could cut you.
They cut you. Like that's the thing, because it's like fiberglass.
Yeah,
which is bad for you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've been hit by one. I got a couple of small cuts, nothing big.
2x4s?
No 2x4.
No.
Chairs, countless times.
Yeah. Man, the stunners hurt.
Yeah, they do hurt. You can break somebody's jaw like that.
Yeah, they're not good.
Absolutely, man. So like I said, man, it's just be careful out there, kids.
We should do random videos like the Joey Janela did with that kid on their Twitter.
Oh, Superhuman?
Yeah.
Yeah. His name's Superhuman. It's like, this is all for the juggalos and juggalettes.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is all for you. Woo woo. And then he'll do some crazy. You know what annoys me about that fucking video series? I mean, it's hilarious. I laugh every time.
Yeah.
Is that he says he'll do like a swanton bomb, and he'll say like Jeff Hardy style, but he doesn't do it like Jeff Hardy style at all. He just throws his fat ass body and just throws himself through a fucking plank of wood covered in barbed wire. And I'm like, no, Jeff Hardy, you gotta throw your legs back. You got to look pretty.
Yeah.
You know, or he'll say like an elbow drop, like I don't know, like Macho Man, and I'm like. Doesn't look like Macho Man's elbow drop, because there's a certain everybody has a unique spin on their move, you know, but every move that he does looks the same. It looks like shit. It's like, oh, swanton bomb, like the great Sasuke style. Doesn't look like that at all, dude. All you did is do a front flip with your fat ass roly-poly body, and you fucking almost murder yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. It fucking makes me laugh. I love it to death. Superhuman is the shit. If you're listening to Superhuman, I think you're awesome. I'm not trying to fat shame you. I'm just saying that if you're going to say you're doing a style of something, make it look as close as possible, because it doesn't look like a Jeff Hardy swanton bomb. All you did was a front flip.
You should just brand it with his name. Like, this is going to be an elbow drop, Superhuman style.
Superhuman style. Everything. Just say everything's Superhuman style.
Yeah.
Which looks sloppy as shit. But that's the best. That's the best part about it, is that it looks terrible, and I'm laughing my ass off.
What if he comes out in AEW today?
That'd be fun. I doubt it. I know he came out with Game Changer Wrestling during Joey Janela's Goodbye, which he just did this earlier this week. Which for the foreseeable future, this is Joey Janela's last. Indie date. There's a lot of last indie dates for people. Sammy
and Jungle Boy and
Marco Stunt's last dates as well. But the thing is, I have a feeling that it's not the last one. I think I've heard through Cody that he still wants to allow Joey Janela to do his spring break specials.
Yeah.
which
Oh, okay.
I hope that continues because those are the most ridiculous shows ever.
Yeah, they're good.
They're awesome. But on that note, man, it's just what has to come to an end. There's also must be a beginning. And I'm excited to see the next phase of a lot of these guys' career. I'm excited to see what Joey Janela does. I'm excited to see how Jungle Boy's career. I mean, he's still very much new.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where his career takes off. I'm excited to see where Kenny Omega goes from here. I'm excited to see how the tag team division is going to form up. I'm excited to see how the women are going to be showcased. I'm excited for AEW. And like I said, no pressure, but a lot of pressure at the same time. You gotta show up. You have to make a lasting impression.
Yeah.
They've done a great job with these events. Now let's see how you play, how this works for weekly TV.
Yeah.
Because that's a different ball game.
Yeah, you're going to be in all different countries on Fight and on TNT and everywhere. On Canada, I think I just saw that they're gonna be in Canada.
They also got like the largest TV deal for pro wrestling in England.
Yeah.
So like I said, the eyes are upon you.
Yep.
Don't let us down, AEW. I'm with you. I'm with you on this.
We're with you, AEW. It's going to be good.
Exactly, man. But on that note, man, you got anything else before we leave? Tell them where they can find us on social media.
On Facebook, you can find us on Tiger Driver Radio. On Instagram, also on Tiger Driver Radio. On Twitter, we are at Tiger Driver Rad1. You can email us at tigerdriverradio@gmail.com or just Google searches Tiger Driver Radio. You'll find us and hit us up.
Exactly, man. And on that note, man, next week we're going to come back to you live again. Am I correct?
We're going to be live. We're going to talk about some New Japan Road next week.
Exactly. New Japan Road. And of course, we'll talk about the first week of AEW wrestling.
See how it went.
And like I said, don't be shy out there, kids. If you're in here, if you're listening, join us, listen. Also, hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties next upcoming week. You can still find past episodes on YouTube, on Podbean, on Spotify, on Apple Music.
Yeah.
We will still have these episodes go on as soon as possible, probably within a day.
Yeah.
After the original air date. So, okay, we're airing today on Wednesday live. You can get our podcast
The next day. By Thursday.
By Thursday. Absolutely. And like I said, if you can't listen to us live, you can still listen to us through Spotify, through YouTube, through Apple Music. Whatever way you listen to podcasts, you can still find us. Don't be shy. Let us know what you guys think. On that note, enjoy pro wrestling, kids. This is your man, JP. Peace.
Adios.